At first glance, it looks like a party. Hundreds of naked people are scattered across a strange landscape. They ride on giant birds, swim with fish, and eat oversized strawberries. They seem happy, but the longer you look, the more you realize something is wrong. This isn't just a party. It's a dream, or maybe a nightmare, and it was painted over 500 years ago. This is The Garden of Earthly Delights by Hieronymus Bosch, and even today, no one truly knows what it means. It's one of the most mysterious and debated paintings in all of art history. Is it a vision of paradise? A warning about the dangers of pleasure? Or something else entirely? Something we've completely misunderstood for centuries? This painting has puzzled everyone who looks at it. Is this a world without sin? Or is it a world where sin is everywhere, hiding in plain sight? No one knows for sure, but there's a secret hidden in its structure, one that completely changes how we see this painting. And if we look at it in the right order, we might see that this isn't just a strange fantasy, but a detailed map of humanity's journey from innocence to damnation. The artist who painted this was a complete enigma. We know almost nothing about Hieronymus Bosch. He lived in the Netherlands in the late 1400s and early 1500s. He was a respected painter in his time, known for creating deeply religious works. But his style was unlike anyone else's. He painted hellscapes filled with twisted demons and saints tormented by bizarre creatures. In another of his paintings, The Last Judgment, you can see people being cooked in a giant egg or turned into musical instruments. His imagination was dark, strange, and absolutely unique. But in The Garden of Earthly Delights, he created his masterpiece. And it has confused everyone ever since, because this is not a simple religious scene. There is no clear moral here, only a bizarre world unfolding across 3 separate panels, a triptych, and that structure is the key. You are not meant to look at just one part. You are meant to read it like a story from left to right, a complete journey. Today, this painting hangs in the Prado Museum in Madrid, Spain, and even though it was created centuries ago, more and more experts are beginning to agree the Garden of Earthly Delights is not just an anomaly. It is one of the most complex, detailed, and possibly terrifying paintings ever made. The question you're probably asking yourself is, where did all this come from? Because Bosch didn't just paint a weird scene, he created an entire world with its own rules and its own creatures. A world that feels both familiar and alien at the same time. So let's step inside. Let's look at each panel one by one. Let's start on the left. This is the Garden of Eden. We see God, who looks like a young Christ, presenting Eve to Adam. The scene looks peaceful, but look closer. In the pond in the foreground, dark, slimy creatures are crawling out of the water. In the background, a lion is devouring a deer. A strange pink fountain-like structure stands in the middle of a lake. This isn't the perfect, innocent paradise we know. From the very beginning, Bosch is telling us that something is wrong. There is a darkness here, lurking just beneath the surface. Now, move to the center panel. This is the garden that gives the painting its name. The landscape continues from the left panel, but now it's teeming with life. Hundreds of naked men and women are everywhere. They are eating giant fruits, riding on griffins and unicorns, and embracing inside a giant mussel shell. A parade of men circles a pool filled with women. There are no children, there are no old people. It's a world of eternal youth and pleasure. But is it innocent? Or is it sinful? No one seems ashamed. They behave as if rules don't exist. They seem to be living in a state of pure, unfiltered joy, as if they are at one with nature. But look closer again. An owl, a symbol of wisdom but also of evil, stares out from inside a strange fruit. People are trapped inside transparent bubbles. A man offers a giant strawberry to a group of people like a forbidden fruit. Is this humanity before the fall, or humanity in the middle of it? And that brings us to the final panel, the one on the right. And here, everything changes. The bright, sunny landscape is gone. Now it is a dark, freezing, terrifying night. This is hell. The happy people from the central garden are now being tortured in the most horrific ways. A giant pair of ears with a knife between them marches across the land. A knight is being torn apart by a pack of demons. In the center of the scene is a hollow tree-like man whose body is a broken eggshell. He looks over his shoulder with a sad, resigned look on his face. Some believe this is a self-portrait of Bosch himself. But the most disturbing part is the musician's hell. People are crucified on a harp. A man is trapped inside a drum, being beaten by a demon. Another has a flute shoved somewhere it should not be. It's as if all the things that brought people pleasure in the central panel, music, games, food, have now become their instruments of torture. At the bottom, a pig in a nun's veil is trying to force a man to sign a document. It is a world of pure chaos and eternal punishment. For many years, this painting was interpreted as a simple warning, a story about sin. The left panel shows the origin of sin with Adam and Eve. The center panel shows a world consumed by lust and worldly pleasure. And the right panel shows the inevitable punishment for that life, eternal damnation. But that reading, though very popular, might be too simple, because accepting what we see here as just a sermon on sin makes us ignore the joy in the central panel. Could Bosch really have painted such a beautiful, enchanting world if he only meant to condemn it? Maybe it's not that simple. Maybe this scene, disguised as a moral lesson, is hiding something much bigger, something that isn't just about sin, but about a lost world. As I was saying, there's the idea that this painting might represent more than a simple warning against sin. And to understand that possibility, it's important to know that some historians have a very different theory. What if the central panel is not a picture of a sinful world? What if it's a picture of a perfect world, a utopia, a vision of what life could have been like if Adam and Eve had never been expelled from Eden, a world where humanity lives in perfect harmony with nature, enjoying its pleasures without guilt or shame? This theory was proposed by the art historian Wilhelm Frenger. He believed that Bosch was part of a secret heretical religious group called the Adamites. This group believed it was possible to return to the innocent state of Adam and Eve. They believed that lust and desire were not sinful, but were pure natural expressions of a life lived in grace. If this is true, then the central panel is not a warning. It's a celebration. It's the paradise they longed for, and the hell on the right isn't the fate of the people in the garden, but the fate of their corrupt, sinful world. Now, Bosch never left an official explanation of what this painting meant. He left no diaries, no letters. That's why, even today, there are so many interpretations. Maybe the traditional view is correct, and it is a warning. Or maybe Frenger was right, and it is the secret manifesto of a hidden cult. Or perhaps it's a representation of the world on the eve of the Great Flood, when people pursued pleasure, unaware of their own sin and the doom that was coming. The truth is, no one really knows, and that's where your interpretation comes in. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments.